Welcome, everybody, to Rev Talk. We have an exciting topic today between Kim and myself, and I'm going to start it off. The topic is speak your truth and be an example. What does that mean to you, Kim?
That's kind of a speak your truth and set an example. It's a heady topic, but I think it falls in line for me about one of our tenets to honor your truth.
Makes sense.
You know, I honor my truth and set an example. So I was telling you, my dad always used to say, do as I say, not as I do. I looked at him like, it doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. Because as kids, you're seeing and experiencing, and you're seeing what your family does, and you do the same things that they do. You know, so to be contradicted by saying, well, you know, do as I say, but it's that actions speak louder than words, right?
That's exactly right.
So it's the same principle where you're watching what somebody's doing. You inherently know whether it's right or wrong. And that yet there are times when you say, oh, well, my parents did this, you know, so this is why I do this. So I guess there's that line to be drawn for yourself with your higher self to say, okay, let's break that mold, break that pattern, you know, and you know, be true to yourself as opposed to being true to your family.
I think when I posted that, I posted it because we're in a time right now that we need to speak our truth. We can't stay silent anymore. We have to shine our light. And the only way you can do that is, as you said, be true to yourself and set an example. And that's what I see from this, because there's so much turmoil, there's so much hatred in the world right now, and so much defiance to authorities that we have to just step back and quietly speak how we believe. It doesn't mean they have to accept that, because there are times when people will have different opinions, but we're all heading in the same direction. We all want the same goal. How we get there is immaterial. So by being the example, others will follow you through. Others will see, oh, well, she's standing up because she doesn't think that's right for that homeless man to be pushed off the street just because he's homeless and he's in their way, because I'll go and help him or give him something to get him where he needs to be. And that's being the example of cleaning up our city streets, which we all want, and we all want the homeless off the street. And that's just one example. I mean, it goes way deeper and way farther when you start thinking
unknown caller.
I got it turned off. I didn't know how to turn it off. So you
just that's just a confirmation of what you're saying is important.
That's true. It is. And I think the most commonality that we all have is, as a child, our parents said, do this, this, and this, and they never did, you know? And I don't want my grandkids to see that. I don't want my children to see me do as I say, but not as I do. So you're projecting within your family, and they see this, and then it projects out further. And it's so hard. And one of the examples we were talking about today is common courtesies, common manners. They've gone by the wayside. You go to just a restaurant, everybody's talking with their mouth full, everybody's talking over everybody else, and they're multitasking. What happened to the food being a table, being where everybody got together to tell about their day, what they were doing, enjoying each other? And they forgot that. They forgot the basics. And that isn't even getting to the manners, about talking, eating, and things like that. Or the average child today doesn't know how to set a table because no one sits down to the table to eat anymore. I don't even do that, in all honesty. Casey laughed at me. I took my soup and I went in the bedroom and watched TV. I should have sat at the table, and you're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to watch TV because the food is digested. It's going to use to honor your body to make you healthy. And if you're sitting there watching TV, your mind's going like this, the food doesn't know where to go or what to do. And she made me realize, be that example. Don't go watch TV, sit here and eat and talk. So, and those are just simple little things. There's so many other things. Honesty is speaking your truth. If you don't like something, speak up.
And you can always speak up in a way that does not offend.
It's non-confrontational.
There are so many people, and I guess there's another, man, I've been triggered like crazy, bing, 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 all over the place lately. But one of the things is, well, I speak my truth and I said, if somebody doesn't like it, oh, well, that's their problem. Okay. There is truth to that. And put a little class in that by understanding that person, if they don't accept you, okay, fine. That doesn't mean you need to get defensive or belligerent about
it. Doesn't mean your way's right.
Exactly. Yes, you can speak your truth, and you can speak it in such a way. And I believe when you speak it in such a way that is not defensive or offensive, that you speak from your heart and truthfully, that's where the real power lies, in your truth and your words, is coming from the heart, coming from a place of love. If you come from a place of defensiveness and, well, what they say, I don't care if anybody believes me or not, then don't say anything at all. That old, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. There is truth in that, because what you put out there, is going to stay out there. And there are always consequences to your actions and the things that you say. If you hurt somebody, now if you don't intentionally hurt them, or you're not intending to, and you do, make sure that you back that up with an apology. I apologize. It was not my intent to, hurt your feelings.
Oh.
People have gotten so defensive. Well, and again, like you said with the kids, everybody's looking. We live to distract ourselves, because if we actually speak our truth and set an example, that means we are responsible for our lives. And people don't want to be responsible for their lives. They want to be distracted. They want to look here. They want to look there. And when you get all that yammy going on, that kind of chaotic energy has a way of building up and just spewing wherever it hits. It's like shrapnel wherever it hits. And it's like a chain reaction. So yes, to be centering yourself and to calm yourself and to determine whether you really need to say your truth to that particular person. Discerning that if what you say, it may be your truth and it may be honest, it may also trigger the heck out of them, and create something even worse. So kind of listen, check in with, yourself and with your angels. And, is this really a conversation I want to have? Is this really something I need to say to them? And if it isn't, don't.
You have times where people, you when you're talking with them, they're not listening. So, why waste your time?
You get
Cause
that
a problem.
You get those tells.
Mhm.
Like
Oh yeah.
and I hope my sister doesn't watch this one. I don't know if she watches any of them, but if she watches this, because I would call like on a Sunday, or a Saturday morning or something. I'd be like, hey, how you doing? She'd be like, good. And, and I'd start talking and there'd be like dead air,
That's-
and then all of a sudden I'd be like, I'm like, what are you doing? She'd be like, oh, I'm cutting coupons. I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay, have a nice day. I get off the phone because you can tell they're not listening.
She's not listening. Yeah.
And I'm like all excited. Blip, 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 blip. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not getting much response. So then I'd say something like, oh my gosh, my pants are on fire. Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be like, did you hear what she said? Yes, I'm just ignoring that. I'm like, okay. So
She does that a lot. When you ask, did you hear what I said? She says, I'm just ignoring you. Knows you.
oh, I know. So basically I don't make phone calls anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't set myself up for that. But it's the same kind of thing. It's you can tell, like you said, you can tell if somebody's paying attention or not,
So
and
true.
what they say or what they don't say. So that is, it is, but again, you're right. My mother was very big on manners. Very well, she went to a finishing school, so that was kind of drummed into her, and she kind of drummed it into
All of you.
mother and sister and I, and I was very, very vigilant about that. Always writing thank you notes and always calling to say thank you and also writing a thank you note. And the interesting thing is that has gone by the wayside.
Exactly.
And I understand, there's that double edge to it, that both sides of the coin, where my mother would be really upset. She would send the grandkids money and then she wouldn't hear anything. And she'd be like, that's the last time I'm doing that. And I was like, mother, if the reason that you're giving them a gift is that you want recognition for it, you're going about it the wrong way. Then it's not a gift. If you give a gift, you're just giving a gift from your heart and no expectations. If you're expecting something, then there's like a reward system going on there. Now, of course, she always continued to give them, but then there's that flip side where, acknowledge the fact that somebody gave you a gift. So it's I don't have an answer to that one because I'm torn between both sides of that. I understand the whole reason that you give a gift, you give it from your heart, and that's it.
Yeah. It's like they'll text you, thank you, not even pick up a phone because times are changing.
I know, and I must say that it's for me being so I laugh at myself. I crack me up being so non-confrontational. You know, it's very easy for me now to text my family and say happy birthday, even though, even though it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, it's become very easy because then I avoid that whole conversation, the whole conversation of questions and, setting myself up for criticism or whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's easier, but it's the way things are done now. You mail a card, what is it, 57 cents now? Or you have to enlarge your card, it's $1 something. It's just, and to go out and buy and waste the paper, it's a different world. It's an electronic world.
It is. Well, and now here's the thing. Last year, I sent both my brother and my sister-in-law, because their birthdays are 2 days apart. I sent them both cards. They never got them. Never got them. The post office never, they're,
Mhm.
they are. They never got them. So I thought, well, there's all that money that I just, threw down the drain because they didn't get them. So that was kind of my clue to stop doing that.
I do online cards now.
I know you do beautiful, those Jackie Lawson. I love those. They're very nice. So yeah, those are nice. But,
They save the tree.
they do. They do. You're right. So I'm wondering if I should mention, or if I should read my excerpt from what was when we were in seminary doing our last thing about honoring our truth.
Was that one of your tenets?
That was one of the ones that, yes.
Yes, you should.
Well, now I have to find it. So I'm trying to think of where that might be, because
Wow.
because I know that one.
At the time, it was a trigger.
Well, it was very much. It meant an awful lot. It meant a lot. Let me see if I can find it here. I can't remember what it was called.
Honor your truth. That's
Well, it was the three.
well, honor your truth is well said, because it doesn't mean you have to speak it. You just need to honor it. So I may not have to tell somebody something that I believe in because I don't want to start an argument, or I don't want to, have it be confrontational. But I can still be an example of that.
Okay.
So that's well said, honoring. You can speak it, or you can show it, or do it. You don't have to. So there's many ways to do point blank truth. You can speak it, you can be an example, you can do it. So that's good. It allowed me to see that.
Okay, here it is. And here's it's my old computer. Everything takes forever to
Load up.
Like, oh, really? Like, it's deciding, like, I don't quite know if I want to do this or not right now. Because one of the other, it was the 3 tenets that were kind of,
We have to do.
that we had to do. And the honoring my truth kind of came up, surprising me a bit with how it turned out. Oh, here we go. Good grief. So All right, let's find it here. So what I have, what the last part of what I have leading up to, with all the pieces coming together and having to do with, me discovering that I'm an anchor and what that meant for me with my family and all. And it was, once the momentum gets going, honoring my truth will be something I wear like armor, carry like a shield, and share like a sacrament. And as an anchor, I have been tasked to anchor the light of the divine, the love of the divine here on this plane for all who seek it, need it, reach for it. So that's kind of what our truth gets to be, what honoring our truth, honoring ourselves gets to be, like wearing armor. It gets to be as easy as that. It gets to be carrying a shield for both you and everyone else, and sharing it like a sacrament, because it is holy and it is divine and it is a part of you. So that is part of the divine.
That is so true. And that's exactly what we were saying.
So yeah, it is important, very important, especially nowadays, like you had said, to set an example to be your highest self. And I think if we kind of set that intention first thing in the morning, I try to remind myself, so please let me be the highest and best version of myself. And I try, and I set that intent. It doesn't always work out that way. At least, I'm setting that intention so that it's something that it's kind of like a reminder later on in the day. If something doesn't quite work, it's like, wait a minute. Is that from, my highest version of myself to do? Probably not. So we'll kind of
backpedal.
Exactly. Like, okay.
No, that's so true though. But that encompasses it all, what we were trying to get across.
So yeah, setting that example, being that example, living that example of your best self, your highest self in your truth, and allowing others to be their highest self and their best self. It might not agree with you. It might not be what you're honoring them and their path and their journey and where they are, by allowing them to be who they are.
That's exactly right. You only see the love. You don't see the why.
Right.
You only see the light.
There's my little man.
I mean.
So, all right, my dear, what do you think?
I think we are complete and we ended it on a good way.
I think so too. So again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And just remember to be gentle with yourself, to be kind to yourself, and know that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of time and space. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends.
Bye.